Hello and welcome back to Collecting Smoke. I am Razul Wallace, and today I'm going to get into the fourth property that I acquired, and that one I actually bought with my girlfriend and still girlfriend at the time and still currently my girlfriend. We were about to have our baby girl together, and we decided to move in together, and she had never used her FHA mortgage. And we found a 2-family home that was not on the market for sale. When I was working at the bank, a customer came in and told me about it. We went and looked and we liked it and decided to get it. And she wanted to sell it to us for, I think, $150. And again, I think we did $155 with $5,000 seller concessions. And this was in 2020. And so I think that me and my girlfriend each put in half the down payment and closing costs. I think it came to like $3,000 or $4,000 each. And then the seller concessions covered the rest of the closing costs we needed. So I think we were maybe into it, for maybe $8,000 we put into it to get it. And we lived there for a little while. And while we lived in there, the mortgage was about $1,300 a month for the whole house. Our unit was a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom unit, and there was a basement that I made into a space for my older 2 sons. And then the younger 2 boys shared a room. The baby had her room and we had our room. The tenant was paying $950 a month, and the mortgage was $1,300. So we did have to pay out of pocket each month. What was that? $350 each month we had to pay. But for me, having moved out of the apartment that I was in and now bringing in $800 from that unit, it kind of evened out for me. She wasn't working when the baby came, so we just having that property helped to offset some of the costs of the property that we lived in. And we lived there for a little while before moving into this place that we're in now. We owned it for about 2 years. When we moved out, we got a $950 for the 1 unit, and then I think when it was all said and done, we were getting $1,400 for the 2nd unit. So we were bringing in about $2,350 a month. The mortgage was $1,300. Utilities were about $2 for that one also. So that's about $2,500. So there's an $850 a month difference there that we basically just split between setting aside for repairs, maintenance, capital expenditures. Actually, we didn't take anything out, to be honest. We left all the funds in the account, but we just had it as an asset essentially. And we're still looking to do a compost facility this year. So we decided to sell it. We sold it last year, and when we sold it for $225, and I think we still owed somewhere around $335. But we had to put some work into it because of the seller required it for FHA financing. I want to say we spent like $18,000 in renovation costs. But we made terms with the contractor to say that we would give him, I think, half of it upon the closing of the property and half of it up front. And but when we sold it, I think after paying back those fees, I want to say we netted about 60 something, maybe 67. I think 67 went into the account. We reimbursed, I think, 18 for the renovations, because we put some on a credit card, and then for the loan from not a loan, but to pay back the contractor for the work that he'd done. And so I think we ended up netting about 50. And we took something like 8 or 9 to do a family vacation. And then the other 40 and change we set aside to put into the compost facility that we're looking to start. But we only owned that property for 2 years. I want to say we put in out of our pockets initially $8,000 or so, and held it for 2 years. And then when we sold it, I think we ended up netting, like I said, around 50K for having it for 2 years. We lived in it for a while, had it for 2 years, it netted 50. But I think, for me, the power of the real estate is that it just gives you chunks of money that would be very difficult to save, in your, your regular 9 to 5, owning assets. And I mean, I won't start a rant about inflation and how it's kind of eroding and essentially leaves us with no middle class. That's a whole other conversation. But the value of owning assets in real estate, I think it speaks for itself. And I would highly recommend starting to learn about it, and in whatever capacity. To me, owner occupied is usually the easiest because it requires the least money down usually, and it's the easiest way to get into a property. And you have your income and it's where you live, so you feel okay with like shelling out that money if it's necessary. But in many instances, you can have your tenants help to pay all or most of your mortgage. And to me, housing is one of your largest expenses. So I would have a hard time moving into a single family home when I get to the point where I'm like really set financially, then maybe I could see it. But for me now, I'll get into the numbers of our house in one of these clips or movies or posts. But it just makes a lot more financial sense to me to live in a multifamily that you own and you're building equity and you're having help with some, all, or most of the mortgage. Yeah, so I hope that gives you some insight into that. If you have any questions or feedback on my videos, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments, because I will start to review them and improve and make these videos better. So thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day, and remember to rein yourself in.